Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shamira if you are new here. In today's video, I have another day in the life of a medical coder. I apologize if my voice is a little low. It is 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm doing this voiceover, so I will make sure to turn the volume all the way up. So right now I'm getting ready to start doing some coding, and I'm actually going to do a voiceover and explain the documentation that I'm going to put on the screen. I know normally I just put the documentation up there and I don't say anything. So I want to do this one a little bit different. That way you guys can get my thought process on some of the documentation that I'm reviewing. I figured I'd start out with something easy. So here I have an office procedure at an OBGYN office. I am an OBGYN coder. I'm not sure if I said that in the beginning, but this is a IUD swap or IUD removal and reinsertion. And I have all the documentation here for the removal and the insertion. And I just want to point out that when you are billing for the insertion, if the office is supplying the IUD, then you can bill for that separate. So the HCPCS code for the Mirena would be J7298, I believe, off the top of my head. And if the patient were to come in with the IUD, then you would not bill for that. I know sometimes patients come in with like their depot shot. If the patient is coming in with the drug that is being administered or inserted, the office does not bill for it separate. Next up, I have a vaginal delivery. So it says here we have a 28-year-old Gravida 1 P0, meaning this is the patient's first pregnancy, at 38 weeks and 6 days. She presents, oh my gosh, I can't read. She presents from MFM, which is maternal fetal medicine, with decreased fetal heart tones and was admitted for induction of labor. She had spontaneous rupture of membranes for clear fluid and received an epidural. So sometimes the fluid could be stained with meconium, meaning the baby pooped in the amniotic fluid. So we don't have to worry about that diagnosis code. But if you've seen meconium stain, you would use 077.0. She then progressed quickly to fully dilated and pushed well to deliver a viable female infant. So we're going to use Z370 for the viable female infant. after a 6-minute bradycardia. So the baby's heart rate is still decreasing or slowing down. So we want to use the diagnosis 076 for that. And then shoulders delivered easily and infant placed on mom's abdomen. So you want to make sure that the shoulders are always delivered with ease or some type of documentation that says that there was no complications, because there is a diagnosis code for shoulder dystocia, meaning the shoulders aren't coming through the vaginal canal easy. Next, we have cord double clamped and cut, and infant taken to warmer for evaluation by NICU. A 3-cord vessel. Sometimes you might see a 2-vessel cord, meaning that they only see 2 veins or 3 veins in the umbilical cord. So if you see 2, there is a diagnosis code that we use. It's not a specific diagnosis code, but it's something along the lines of complication with umbilical cord during delivery. And then we have placenta delivered very quickly and spontaneous, intact. Sometimes you could have the placenta be trapped in the uterus. So I think those codes are like 073 or 072 something. I can't remember. But this one was delivered quickly and spontaneous, and it was intact. So they sent that to the laboratory, and it says patient stable to routine postpartum care, infant to NICU. So they're probably sending the baby to NICU for these complications that they've been having with their heart. So, but we don't have to worry about NICU at all. We're just coding for the mom. So our diagnosis codes would be 076. And I know sometimes I think like with training or like when you're becoming a coder, I think they may have a diagnosis of 036 8330, which is like an abnormal fetal heart. Maybe you might say decelerations in the description of that code, because they may want you to use that for the reason the patient came into the hospital. Clearly, when they were at MFM would have used the 036 8330 code. So you could use that code as well. But because there was also decelerations during the delivery, I'm just going to go with the 076. But if you're like practicing and you see like, why is this code being used instead of this code? That might be why. They might want to use that diagnosis code for the reason the patient came into the hospital to begin with. So again, our diagnosis code the diagnosis code that I'm going to use is 076. And then I'm going to use Z3A38 because she was 38 weeks. And then we also have the Z370 for the live born infant. And then our last one that we are going to review together is an outpatient surgery. So this patient was admitted to the hospital with a brief history of a missed abortion. That's what MAB stands for. She underwent 2 pelvic ultrasounds a week apart to confirm this diagnosis. The patient now presents for a D&E, which is dilation and evacuation, after discussing therapeutic alternatives and failed expectant management. So our pre-op and our post-op diagnosis code are the same. That's going to be the 002.1. And our procedure details: the patient was taken to the operating room and placed in the operating table. I think they meant on, but you know what they mean. In the supine position, she received PO doxycycline preoperatively. Anesthesia was induced without difficulty. The patient was placed in the dorsal lithotomy position. The vagina was prepped and draped in standard fashion. A speculum was placed in the vagina. Findings are as noted. The anterior lip of the cervix was then grasped with a single tooth tenaculum. The uterus was sounded to 10 centimeters. The cervix was progressively dilated to number 21 Hank dilators, and a 8 millimeter suction curette was introduced into the uterus, and suction curettage was performed, removing large amounts of tissue. Approximately 7 passes were made until 3 passes were free of tissue. Hemostasis was confirmed. The procedure was then terminated and the equipment removed from the vagina. The patient tolerated the procedure well. The patient was awakened from the anesthesia and taken to PACU in good condition. Again, our diagnosis code is going to be the 002.1, and our CPT code is going to be 59820.
No.
Thank you. Thank you. Move. Don't touch nothing. Don't touch.
House, and I'm playing both sides. This fight was super close, so everybody's breaking down. Josh, you lost today's challenge. I'll be seeing you in the arena. Rachel, who's it gonna be?
There'll be Corey going down.
But I've worked too hard to give up. Congratulations, Corey. Why don't you go ahead and pick 3 women up on that stage? See you guys in the elimination. Wait, we're on that challenge?
She's playing the game now.
Here's the thing is, it's like now all of a sudden you go from doing absolutely nothing. You're oblivious, living her entire games. What's going on? Wait, there's an alliance? Wait, we're on that challenge?